Hello, everyone. How are you doing? This is Daryl Guberman, CEO of Guberman PMC LLC, a quality consulting firm here in Connecticut. We've been open for 13 years, and we've been involved with quality for over 40 plus. Involved with aerospace, medical implants, medical materials, printing, and plastic distribution. My education, if you want it, I'll gladly send you the education. My background is composites, plastics, non-ferrous metals, aluminum, titanium alloys, their structures and adhesives and bomb and fasteners, etc., etc. So this video today is about Southwest Airlines, and this goes to the management and personnel and those that fly the passengers. QA expert Daryl Guberman alerts Southwest and passengers about Boeing being an FAA regulator from 2009 to present. And you can't make this up, ladies and gentlemen. You just can't. So let's try to get this done. These videos have been coming out to be about 10 minutes long. I hope I keep your attention because I know something. If I'm going on a plane flight from Southwest Airlines, I'd be worried, without a doubt. I know people are saying, why are you saying this, Daryl? It's tough enough for me to get on the plane. Well, now you're going to have proof of the pudding that it is tough to get on the plane. So Southwest, I'm just saying this. If you bought planes between 2002 and present, I would really be a little bit leery of the integrity of the aircraft. And here we go. You have ANSI, the American National Standards Institute, is a private, not-for-profit, non-governmental entity, and it has both federal agencies and corporations on board. In 2015, you had a Mr. Randy Doherty, Vice President of ANAP, Chairman and Principal on the IF Tax Report. The International Accreditation Forum is incorporated in Delaware. It is a repository for accreditation bodies, both national and international. He handed over leadership to this communist Chinese national, Zhao Jinwu, who's been involved with our quality for over 30 years, okay? He is also mandated by his country of origin, Communist China, to take our data through the China National Intelligence Law, Article number 7. Here he is, standing in the laboratory, Biolevel 4 in Wuhan, China, no less. At the time he was handed chairmanship of the IAF, he was also the chief executive of the China National Accreditation Services out of Beijing, China. CNAS, or China National Accreditation Services, is equivalent in accreditation to ANAP. You had a Miss Pamela Sale right around the same year give a deposition in Texas concerning laboratory accreditation. She's the vice president of accreditation for laboratory. And she said that from one laboratory to another, there were variances. They lack protocols. They're giving a certificate that is bogus. So we continue on. You have ANAP, who sits on ANSI's board. In 2018, you have the factor that ANSI took over complete control over ANAP. It used to be ANSI ASQ, American Society for Quality National Accrediting Board, ANAP. They changed it in 2018 and they took complete control over it. ASQ, by the way, sits on ANSI's board next to Boeing, next to Lockheed, etc. So you have this mess. They also, at the time when the Chinese National was, the Communist Chinese National was handling the IAF, they were on there, 2015 to 2021. They were sitting there. One of the most disturbing aspects of this presentation, I'm going to tell you, is not only Boeing, but the factor that here it is, two American companies that sit over by countries that want to see the destruction of the United States of America. And I'm not talking about the people of these countries. They are the innocents. I am talking about the leaders, right? This guy, Osama bin Laden, he's dead. At least that's what they say. At least that's what they tell us. But Khomeini is talking about the destruction of the United States of America and Israel. And I, as a proud American Jewish business leader, must have offense to this because you have two American companies that are sitting right over by Iran and Pakistan who are equivalent in accreditation to ANAP. And you have Iran who is subsidizing Hamas. What is that telling about the integrity of ANSI and ANAP? You tell me, please, tell me. I want to know. Sitting on ANSI's board are 7 different quality registers. There's like 60 of them. But 7 of these must be very important to them because they utilize the ANAP logo. The ANAP logo on the registration certificate. You have Intertech, which is in the middle there, my friends, that that issue their certificates to Sparrow Aerospace Systems, okay, which is run by Patrick Shanahan, former Secretary of Defense, and it's a mess. This quality is a mess. So we go on to Boeing, and this is very important to you, the passengers. I hope you understand this, Southwest. You have Boeing, on a procedure that was sent out to suppliers in 2002. It basically states down there that if you are AS9100 by ANSI ANAB, of course they didn't put ANSI ANAB because that's like stacking the deck in a monopoly, but it is ANSI ANAB because you'll see it on their supplier portal. If you are ANSI ANAB certified, have the AS9100 for aerospace certification, that's the ISO standard. Just hand us your document, your certification, and then just send us your part. We don't have to send inspection to you anymore. To compound the problem, when you hear Mr. David Calhoun talk, and you hear him talk about our regulator, the FAA, this came out in a periodical in 2009 that stated, I'm going to just read the first sentence because that tells you all. The FAA increased the authority of Boeing's commercial airlines division to self-certify its own aircraft. Maybe that's why we've had problems, 777, 787, 737, all the rest of that mess, because they were in charge of their own, they were the regulatory authority. So you basically have this, ladies and gentlemen, business owners, and of course, Southwest Air management, personnel, and passengers. Boeing was given regulatory authority. The FAA is a regulatory authority, and now they're telling, oh, the FAA's got to look up. How can you do that? That's a regulatory authority. They're in a conundrum. And here we go. You have Boeing that sits on ANSI's board, right over by the accreditation body that they tell you that they want you to use on their supplier portal. They also sat and sit on the ANSI ANAB board. The ANAB board, the accreditation body board, and this is where they sit. They not only sit on the board of directors, which has influence in running the business, but they also sit on the other management board that can grant, suspend, and withdraw certification. Isn't that a tender moment? You also have the factor, and here it is, in their supplier portal. And the worst thing is, if you want to hear about how bad their quality is, they changed to ANSI ANAB in 2018. On there, you can go right now, on their supplier portal, if you look now, it says ANSI ASQ, National Accrediting Board, which the American Society for Quality, as I told you, sits on ANSI's board right over by Boeing, right over by the other corporations and federal agencies. And they did not upgrade their website as I upgraded it here to ANSI ANAB. It's still ANSI ASQ. So for 6 years, they've dragged their feet, even though there was a change. Even though they sit on ANSI ANAB's board, they don't care, and you can see that. To make matters worse, Southwest and passengers, that Boeing got snagged for fudging documentation on their jet liners. Yes, they did. I have these. They'll be in the description. If they're not, please write me or call 203-556-1493 or Daryl, Daryl, TQRS @yahoo.com. And I will get it to you and for you. I made them also into hard copies just in case if Boeing pushes it and tries to erase that from the internet. I have hard copies of everything. Just recently, a V-22 Osprey, a Bell Boeing V-22 Osprey tilt rotor went down, killing a lot of people in the aircraft. And my heart goes out to the families. But in their composite facility, Bell Boeing Osprey V-22 composite facility, they got caught again, fudging documentation, whatever. They got $8.1 million fine because of this. And it took from 2007 to 2018. Where the hell is the inspection? I guess the FAA let them have authority over the military materials that they're manufacturing too. In composites, ladies and gentlemen, let me just explain it. That's my background, composites, plastics, non-ferrous metals. But composites in general are no more than rags and glue, but it's more than that. We have a piece of Kevlar, okay? Kevlar impregnated with a resin Kevlar, fiberglass, Kevlar, graphite. Okay, that's a hybrid composite, they call it, but that's not important. What you worry about is proper time and temperature and all that, and pressure, of course. Because if you have interstitial bubbles, that's bubbles between the fabric or bubbles between the plies, interstitially. What will happen is during vibratory stresses, whether helicopter or plane, it'll go like this and disbond. You also have the FAA sitting on ANSI's board right over by Boeing. 2 regulators. Boeing has been a regulator since 2009. The worst thing is, too, ladies and gentlemen, Southwest Air, is that most recently we heard that the FAA and the National Transportation Safety Board, which is part of the Department of Transportation, which also sits on ANSI's board, are going to look into the FAA regulator, Boeing. There's something wrong here. Something does not smell right. Remember, there's 2. As David Wallace said, the truth will set you free, but not until it is finished with you. My telephone number is 203-556-1493 or Daryl, TQRS @yahoo.com. And I thank you.